So today we have someone who is working with one of the top companies when it comes to omnichannel content tools and publishing platform, and which enables marketers, brands, and even creators to constantly publish and share their content with different people across the world. Let's welcome Joe on 10 Minutes of Hiding Wisdom. Hi, Joe. How are you doing today?
Great. Good to speak with you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Joe, can you tell us about the company that you're currently working with? What exactly is your position?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of Issuu. We're, as you mentioned earlier, we're this massive digital publishing platform. We enable marketers, businesses, content creators to make all their content digitally available in a range of formats to be shared to all the different digital channels that content needs to be on in order for businesses to reach their audience.
Okay, and how is it like because there are a lot of tools, we have a lot of platforms like that. How exactly does your company distinguish themselves from other competitors out there?
Yeah, so we enable businesses to take, again, their content marketing materials, their catalogs, their brochures. So content that they've created, you can create that content once. And then what Issuu enables you to do is transform that one piece of content into all the different assets that you need. So we enable you to turn that content into everything from a mobile optimized story that you can share on Instagram or Snap, turn it into a paginated video and linked enhanced catalog on your own website or across any social media, turn it into a GIF that you can then embed on a MailChimp email. We give you the tools to be able to pull that content from wherever it is being created, whether it's being created in Canva or Adobe tools or being stored in Dropbox or Google Drive or where it happens to be. So what we is essentially a one-stop shop that enables businesses to be able to widely transform and distribute that content without having to natively create in every channel that they're using digitally.
That makes everything so simple because
yeah.
I think very simple. I think that the efficiency of that specifically, because I mean, there are a lot of great tools out there, but then you have to use one tool and then go to the other and everything. So it's like a one pit stop for everything because you have all the resources in one single platform, and you can just use that and just optimize and work productively.
Indeed.
So I can definitely see why people actually are into this. How has the public's response been to this? Who has been your audience so far, and how have people been responding to this?
It's been, we've had huge response. We have over 1 million customers a year from all over the world using the Issuu platform. And it's everybody from individual entrepreneurs and solopreneurs to huge companies, Shell, Patagonia, down to coffee shops down the street are using us. What we're seeing is all businesses are increasingly understanding the necessity of getting their content across all of these different channels. And so a platform like ours ends up being really valuable to any kind of business or creator.
That makes sense. And I think especially with the pandemic and everything, a lot of things have gone digital. So I think using different social media platforms, especially because you need to reach your audience somehow, is a good way because then you can do it productively in a more efficient manner.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see why the response has increased. So how has your company been doing with the pandemic and everything? Do you think, as in like, have you had setbacks or has it been good for you because it's been going either ways for different companies?
Yeah, I think it's been challenging for everybody in different ways. In terms of our business, we've actually grown through the last year and a half. We've hired through the last year. We've hired over 50 people at Issuu and have continued to see an increased demand for the tools and services we offer and the integrations that we have with other large folks in the creative space and the MarTech space. So we've just been happy that we're in a position to be able to provide services and tools and capabilities to businesses out there who need to change the way in which they've been communicating, need to change the way in which they have been making their content available. So providing access to leverage digital in ways they hadn't necessarily been doing before. One of the things that we see is businesses in particular that used to rely almost exclusively on in-person interaction have now been able to start taking advantage of the services that we make available to start reaching their audience in across digital in digital ways, but also they've been able to get access to them in a much larger audience as well.
That makes sense. And I think as in like, if you don't reach out to your audience will go to someone else.
Indeed.
It's not like we lack companies and everything because there's always a new startup there. There's always a new company there. So I think companies definitely need to leverage what's going on and constantly need to adapt in order to actually keep up with the latest market trends making sure that they're actually constantly aware of their customers, because at the end of the day, it's the customers that we serve, especially when we start a business, keeping that in mind.
Absolutely.
So I can definitely see that. So you mentioned that you hired around 50 people and everything. What exactly, according to you, is something that would be something great for a person that would apply to Issuu, that you would be like, okay, this is someone that I'd want on my team? What is something, according to you, that's something that's very important in a person working?
Well, there are a couple of things that we look for. Of course, there's the skill to match the job that we're looking for. So we've hired across marketing and product and engineering, customer success, salespeople. We've hired across sort of every category in the marketplace. So one, of course, is they have to have a strong skill set. The other thing that I'm always looking for in terms of people and their background is the ability to really demonstrate care, deep care. Like, we want people who are on the team who care about the product that we're making, who care about our customers, who care about the people that they're working with that are around them. We understand that you're spending a lot of time together, even if it's in a digital environment in many cases, but the ability to recognize how to really work with each other, with other human beings, matters a lot. And the fact that it's human beings using our product is super important. The other is grit. Being able to roll up your sleeves and go solve challenges. We know there are lots of challenges and there's plenty of problems. What we're looking for are people who can come in, be creative, have tenacity and resilience around solving and addressing those problems. And then the third category that I always find super important is being able to demonstrate the ability to learn and the interest in learning. So make plenty of mistakes, that's fine, but understand, what are we learning from them, and how do you apply those learnings to what we're doing so we can move the business and our opportunity forward.
I like the human aspect of it, because you do understand that humans make mistakes. But then again, I think what you do with those mistakes is something that's important, because you don't want people constantly making the same mistake over and over again. It's what they take away from that certain mistake that's what makes them a learner. Like, a person can grow from those. So actually, that's very inspiring. So thank you for sharing that. So are you, as in, like, are you hiring globally? Are you hiring within the US? What kind of roles are currently open? So if people do reach out and show interest, I could definitely forward them to you.
We're certainly hiring. We're hiring product managers. We're hiring engineers. Most of the folks that we're hiring right now are in Europe. But we are always looking for really strong people. And if we have an opportunity now, we will hire. It's also sometimes just to be in contact with people, so that when we have additional openings, they're first on the list. I think one of the things for someone who's interviewing that's super important to remember is that most interviews don't actually result in a job for whatever reason. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the interviewee there's a problem. It just means that there's lots of people interviewing for that particular role. So what is important is to recognize that anytime you're interviewing for a position, you're actually building a relationship. And in that instance, you never know what you're able to create, whether it's a future opportunity with that company, or the person who's interviewing you may get a call from a friend who's looking for someone really strong. So what you're really doing is building that relationship and building your knowledge of the environment as well.
That's very true. I think so many people out there usually focus on the transactionality of the relationship, when you should actually focus on building relationships that, even if you don't get a job right now, right away, you could build a meaningful relationship that could convert, like, maybe in the long run of you guys working together. So thank you for sharing such a wonderful insight. So Joe, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you, learning from you, and especially about your company, which sounds like it's doing a wonderful job increasing efficiency, productivity. And if people show interest and reach out to me regarding that, I will forward them to you. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you. Great to be with you today.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.